Yo, what's going on guys? It's Jonathan and this is my full review of the Galaxy Note 5. I've had this phone for quite a bit of time. I've been using it as a daily driver and I'm ready to share with you guys my experience, my thoughts, and my opinions on Samsung's new flagship. Now if you guys missed my first impressions video in my unboxing, make sure you check that out if you missed it and you want a spec breakdown. In this video, I'm not really going to be covering a detailed spec review. This is going to be more of a user review. So all of my experiences and my thoughts are going to be wrapped up in this video and I'm ready to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into it, starting with the design. Now, Samsung has always been criticized for making cheaper phones, especially when it comes to their build quality. You know, it was made of plastic, it creaked, it cracked, but those days are gone. And starting with the Note 4, Samsung really has been trying to improve their design. In fact, the Note 4 really blew me away with its metal construction around the edges and sides, and it still had a removable back. When the S6 was released, they had a glass front and a glass back similar to the iPhone 4 and 4S, and they were really on point with their design, but they took away a lot of the features. Well, that kind of continues into the Note 5. In fact, the Note 5 really is just a supersized Galaxy S6 mixed with an S6 Edge. So what I mean by that is the Note 5 has the same glass front and glass back, and it's made of Gorilla Glass 4. It still features that aluminum and metal construction around the edges and sides, including the buttons, which I absolutely love. The volume up and down buttons, and as well as the power button, are just on point. They're very premium, they're very tactile, and just give you a great response whenever you press them. If you flip the Note 5 over, you're going to find dual curved edges, and this is for an ergonomical standpoint, making it a little bit more comfortable when it's resting in your hand, whether you're using the S Pen, scrolling through websites, or even for one-hand usability. Now it does feature that downward firing speaker, and even though we'd much rather have front-facing speakers, the speaker on the Note 5 is actually quite good. And it has pristine sound even at max volume when you're listening to music. I noticed minimal distortion, and even using it as a speakerphone during phone calls, I really didn't have any distortion or feedback or any issues with using it. The same thing can be said about the earpiece. I'm on a T-Mobile network, I'm using voice over LTE or Wi-Fi calling, therefore I'm getting HD voice, and everything was very pristine, very clear, and very crisp. I didn't have any issues with it being too soft or not loud enough or being too loud. Everything was just perfect when it comes to call quality. Now, some of the negatives of this new design that Samsung has implemented, and by negative I mean the glass front, glass back, the whole premium build thing, they've taken away a few of the features, and this includes the ability to pop off the back and replace a battery. Now, they've also taken the IR blaster away at the top. I never really used it personally, but I know a lot of people that did, so it was kind of a letdown that they took that away as well. But the biggest thing to me, what I use the most, is the SD card slot. Also, with that glass back, you're gonna get tons of fingerprints, and you're also gonna get some micro scratches just taking it in and out of your pocket each and every day. And of course, if you're not careful and you drop it and it hits concrete, hardwood, or even some rocks, or even if you drop it at the beach, you're gonna damage that glass, if not break it. So I suggest you either getting a skin or a case. Personally, I think a case is going to bulk up the Note 5 a little bit too much and make it unmanageable to my liking, so I went ahead and threw a skin on mine. If you guys are interested where I got this skin, you can find a link in the description. But as far as the whole in-the-hand feel of the Note 5, it's amazing. I love using this phone. It's actually a smaller form factor than the Note 4. It's a little bit more compact, making it easier to use with one hand, especially when you pair it up with the triple click of the home button to put it in one-handed mode. And thanks to that curved design on the back that I mentioned earlier, it's very ergonomical and it's just a very comfortable phone to use over an extended amount of time. If there's one thing that anybody will tell you that has ever used a Note 5, it's how good the display is. And this thing is damn gorgeous. It's a 5.7-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display, and this thing is just on point. It has great color accuracy. If you just take a look at the color grid here, you can see all the colors in the spectrum and all the different shades of those colors, and it's just on point. You can also see the blacks get dark and inky, just like AMOLED displays are known for, plus the whites get nice and bright. Now my display runs a little bit on the cool side, and that's just because of the display setting that I'm using. You can actually go into settings, go under display, and change it to a different mode. Basic has the most accurate colors, and it's also going to warm up your display if you like warmer whites. So just keep that in mind. If you have a Note 5 and you don't like the colors that come with it out of the box, you can adjust it in the display settings. So when it comes to just off-axis viewing or viewing angles, you can pretty much make out something on the display no matter what angle you look at it. So when it comes to just the overall brightness, are you able to see the display in direct sunlight or under a freaking spotlight? Absolutely. This thing gets super bright, just like the Galaxy S6. It shoots up to high nits, making you able to read all the content on your display no matter what condition you're in. If you're in a very low lit condition and you're straining your eyes on the display because it might be too bright, you can actually dim this thing quite a bit and you can still make out everything that's there. It features the same processor as the S6, but instead of having 3 gigabytes of RAM, you're looking at 4. And that's because this is a phone made for productivity. That's the reason why it comes with the stylus. This is made for people who want to multitask and get things done at the same time, and you are not going to be disappointed with the performance of this thing. But whether I was gaming, I was multitasking, running apps side by side, just scrolling through websites, even just using the stock TouchWiz launcher without replacing it with Nova, this thing just rocked. I mean, it was very fluid, hardly any lag. Occasionally you would get a hiccup or stutter, and that's just because it's TouchWiz. But as far as like running Nova or even the Google Now launcher, the thing just blazed through it all. And running apps side by side, hardly any stutter, and it was just a great experience, and the internals on this thing are just top notch. Now, what I will say is during extensive gameplay or multitasking on the Note 5, over a period of time, the back will get warm. It doesn't get uncomfortably warm or unbearable. It won't shut down on you or anything like that. But because of that glass panel, you're definitely going to feel it. If you compare the fingerprint scanner found on the Note 4 versus the one found on the Note 5, it's a huge advancement. But if you're coming from an S6, you're not going to be nowhere near as impressed. The one found on the Note 4 was this whole swiping thing, and it was really annoying. I ended up just turning mine off completely and using the whole swipe, the lock screen to unlock it instead. So I have no kind of security on my Note 4. So for the Note 5, I've left the fingerprint scanner on the whole time, just like I did on the S6, because it's the same fingerprint scanner found on that phone. And the accuracy on it is awesome, and it's very fluid, very responsive, and just using it has been a pleasure. Since the Note 4, Samsung has really been trying to improve TouchWiz, taking away a lot of the features people didn't use, removing some of the bloatware, making it more fluid, less laggy, and they didn't do a great job with the Note 4. I mean, it still lagged big time, but it was a powerhouse of a phone. But when they released the S6, I think they almost nailed TouchWiz. Despite it still having some features that people aren't going to use and the cartoon-like icons, I think it was very snappy and I hardly noticed any lag. I mean, you still have the occasional stutter because TouchWiz is a RAM hog. But thanks to that 4 gigabytes of RAM on the Note 5, the same TouchWiz version as the S6, this thing is snappy and performance has been stellar. Of course, as far as those cartoon-like icons go, you can go into the theme store and download like a material theme and it fixes that. Or you can go a step above that and download like the Google Now launcher or even Nova launcher, and all the S Pen features still work with third-party launchers. The S Pen has been improved. It has a refined design, giving the user more of an experience like writing with a regular pen or pencil. It also has now a clickable button on top. You can push it and a little bit will eject out. So instead of digging your fingernail under the bottom of the phone and pulling it, you actually push in and it gives you enough to grip with your fingertips and pull out. So you have easier in and out access with the S Pen on the Note 5. The Note 5 definitely has improved over the Note 4, even though the changes aren't as drastic as they were compared to the Note 3 to the Note 4. And that's because the Note 4 actually had a really good S Pen and its performance was stellar. And the Note 5 is even better than that. I've noticed that fluidity on this thing and performance and overall accuracy is on point. Whenever I was just jotting down notes and using it as a mouse or using it to copy and paste and things like that, everything was very responsive and this thing flew. So as far as other improvements and changes when it comes to that S Pen software, you're looking at a new refined and redesigned Air Command. It's more minimalistic, it looks more professional. To me, it's easier to navigate through because you're able to add your own custom shortcuts on it now. Now with those custom shortcuts, you do have the basic S Pen features and apps like the ability to take an action note, to be able to screen write and things like that. Now going along with screen write, you are now able to do a scroll capture, which is really awesome actually. I didn't think that I was going to use it very much, but I actually had to send an email to a friend, and in order to get that full email on there, I had to scroll and then do a capture. So I scroll captured, and it was incredibly useful actually. And if you're trying to do like a large scroll capture of like your Twitter feed. You can actually do that, and then they can go through and see all the tweets. It's just a really nice little feature they got. One of the biggest changes, and probably the most useful to any S Pen user, is going to be the ability to just eject the S Pen while the phone is turned off without having to unlock it and just start instantly writing on the screen. So you just pop out the S Pen, take a note, the screen will stay off so that way it conserves battery since it is an AMOLED display. Once you get done writing that note, click save, boom, it saves it into your action memo. You can go back and look at it at any given time. It's super simple, super fast, and super easy to take a note down anytime you want. I mean, pull out your phone, don't even gotta unlock it, don't even gotta turn it on, start writing on a screen, bam, you got a note done. Another major advancement on the Note 5 versus the Note 4 is the front-facing and rear-firing camera. This thing can take photos that will blow your mind. And you don't even have to be a professional photographer. You don't have to go into pro mode. You can double click that home button, launch the camera real quickly, and just hit the shutter, and I promise you, you will get a usable image almost every single time, if not every single time. I mean, I've never taken a bad photo with my Note 5. You can even get really, really great low light photos with this thing because of that f1.9 aperture with minimal noise. The optical image stabilization found on the Note 5 works fantastic, and it gives you even better low light results. Plus, it really stabilizes 4K video. It gives you some really usable handheld footage out of your camera found on your phone. But before we get into the video, I want to talk about their processing. The image processing found on the Note 5 is the same as the S6. Images do come out a little bit sharp, but it's not too sharp. Images do come out a little bit oversaturated, but it's not too oversaturated. It just gives you the right amount to produce a beautiful image. The front-facing camera is a 5 megapixel camera with a wide angle lens, and you can take just amazing selfies. If that's your type of thing, you can definitely do it with this camera, and because of that wide angle, you can fit all your friends in the shot at the same time. As far as video goes, it does shoot 1080p, with the front-facing camera, but you can actually bump it up to Quad HD, and you're gonna get amazing results out of this thing.
So this is a test. I'm actually out here filming the Note 5 review, and the bugs are absolutely horrendous. But it is a really, really gorgeous day, and the Note 5 camera is just amazing. So just doing some camera samples, just shooting some video. This is probably the best camera I've ever used on a phone, and I think I've already reiterated that in previous videos, and so have other people, but this camera is amazing. And the audio that the camera picks up, or the microphone picks up when you're recording video, is pretty good too.
As far as 4K quality goes, this camera can produce beautiful 4K images. I mean, this thing, it just blows my mind, especially given the perfect lighting conditions. You can really, really take some beautiful clips. And it has a great microphone, so you're gonna get great sound. It has built-in optical image stabilization, so of course you're gonna get stabilized video. It's not just like software stabilization. It does have that as well, but you can't turn that on when shooting 4K. At least I couldn't on my phone. It does have motion tracking as well for autofocus, but again, you have to be in 1080p when you're using that feature. So let's talk about the battery life on the Note 5. Now it's a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and when they announced that, I really was disappointed. I thought I wasn't gonna get good battery life at all, considering they went down in the size of the battery versus the Note 4, but I've been really surprised. The Note 5's processor actually manages that battery much better than the processor found on the Note 4 and that larger battery. I'm able to get anywhere between 4 to 5 to 5.5 hours of screen on time every day consistently. And it lasts me from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to bed, and I still have juice left before I go to bed. If anything, I couldn't get 2 days, but I could definitely get 1 full day into the next early morning on one charge. And because it has quick charging and also quick wireless charging, they give you plenty of options to rejuice your phone at any given point very quickly. Oh, and I almost forgot. The Note 5, just like the S6, is Samsung Pay ready. So as soon as they push that update, boom, you have Samsung Pay, and you have the ability to pay with your phone in many more markets versus Android Pay or even Apple Pay. And of course, it is NFC equipped. That's how it is able to use that feature. So overall, the Note 5 is the best looking phone Samsung has ever made. Now, whether or not it's the best phone, you can be the judge on that. It does miss a few of the key features that the Note lineup was known for: the removable battery, IR blaster, and SD card slot. So in a way, they kind of did go backwards. But until you use this phone firsthand, you really don't know what you're missing. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow me on all my social media connections. That way if you have any questions, you can get at me on there, or you can leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And of course, as always guys, I'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.